and build their brand and build their company. And so that's who you guys are speaking with today. And Rosemary, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Adam. I appreciate you. Hey, everybody. Adam gave you a little introduction to me, and I'm just really excited to be here. As he mentioned, I was a teacher. I was actually elementary and preschool, so I worked with the littles. So anytime that I get to be in any teaching, coaching capacity, that is truly my lane. So I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you. And again, I have my dates, I had Central in my calendar. So I just appreciate your patience as well. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen and then I hope that y'all can see it. Can y'all see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, great. So I know that we wanted to talk a little bit about production and really highlighting. That's the beautiful thing about real estate, is that I think that there are just so many opportunities to find your lane. And especially with EXP, it even affords us even more opportunities to find our lane. I know we throw around the whole term, you know, providing value, but truly that is a game changer. And once I shifted from salesperson to person to give who gives value, my life and my business completely changed. And I'm gonna credit Adam. I remember when I first got started and everything was just hard. And I don't know if you all, you know, some of you may have just fallen into this business and it just came naturally for you. And like there was no ebb and flow. But for me, I definitely questioned if I would make it to that 2-year mark or even to the next day, because it just felt difficult. And I remember in one coaching session, Adam said something to me that that stuck with me and has stuck with me ever since. And he said, once you get over the selling aspect of the business, your life is going to change. And that was true. Like once I got over the fear of selling myself, the fear of X, because there's always a fear, right? Once I decided that those fears were not going to hold me back, and actually my husband and I we didn't pin the term, but we started living by it, do it scared, things started to look different. So today I'm going to share with you just what it looks like to sell $20 million to your sphere of influence. It was funny because when Adam sent me a message, he was like, hey, what do you want to teach? What are you going to talk about? And this is what it is. Like, I really have built, hold on. I think my little slideshow is going too fast. I'm going to go this way if that's okay with y'all. But I really want to talk about what it really looks like to truly build a business that that from your sphere of influence. So today I'm going to show you how to build a real estate business that you love by intentionally serving your sphere of influence. So I'm going to just talk to you. Look, I'm like a little preacher. I won't be before you long, but let's turn off all distractions just so that we can double in into this training. A little bit about me. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, born and raised in Chicago, had zero intentions of leaving. The code was never an issue for me because that was home. But then my husband and I, we met when I was in high school. We'd been together, I don't know, somewhere around our 10-ish year mark of marriage. We were thinking like, okay, life has to be able to look different. And what could that look like? And we started to just explore the idea of living somewhere different, and relocated to Dallas, a north suburb of Dallas, which is Frisco. I was still a school teacher. My husband has always been a real estate guy. He took off a little bit during the recession. Honestly, he got we say he got his panties popped, lost a lot of property, just in over his head, right? So when the recession happened in 2008, he backed off of real estate, but has always been entrepreneurial. So there was definitely a challenge, right, in terms of what is our family going to look like, because real estate was not working. He was a flipper at the time. As a matter of fact, it wasn't that it wasn't working, it had tanked. It tanked our savings, a little bit that we had. We were over leveraged. We were in a house that was, we paid more than it was worth, and just really didn't know what to do. And he stepped out on faith and opened a barber college in Illinois. I'd never seen him cut hair a day in my life. But when he came home and said, hey, this is what I'm going to do, I need to build a recession-proof business. I wish I could tell you that I was all in and excited, but I wasn't. That's my truth. But God used him in that experience just to open my eyes to what it looks like to really follow your first mind. So he had that business, and we up and relocated to Frisco. Did not have jobs. I ended up getting a teaching job. I was still in the teaching space at that time, and yeah, like it just worked out. After a couple of years of teaching, Cory got back into real estate. He thought he would be an agent, like he tried all different things. He got licensed to be an agent. We really thought that I would just come and work alongside him, like we would be like some agent couple, but he figured out that he did not like the retail side of the business. He still had his investor hat on, and he got into wholesaling. So he ended up letting his license go, just so that he wouldn't have any issues being a wholesaler and being a licensee. But then I'm licensed in 2017, and it's just been a blessing since then. So I quit my teaching career, got licensed. I joined EXP. I was a part of Tierney's team at the time. I was with that team for a little bit over a year. In February 2019, I became a solo agent. 2021, I hit Icon for the first time. I actually got Icon twice in 2021, in January and again in July. And then hit it again this year. They actually did something weird with my numbers this year, but I hit it again this year. June 2022, I became a broker, and something that I'm really proud of. My husband and I, we have a podcast that we started during the pandemic, but I started the Real Estate Bestie podcast that I'll tell you all about as well. So just in terms of numbers and production, right? I've sold over 200 homes. Average sales since the pandemic has been 20 million, on track to exceed that this year. And that's my personal production. I have started a team since then. I'm just if you start a team, it takes a little while to get them going. So getting them going, and then 3 times Icon agent. And really the way I want to spend our time today is just sharing that with the right habits, it is possible to create a predictable referral business while providing value to others and exceeding your wildest production goals as a real estate agent. You're on this call, so I know that you all know that there are tons of ways to get business. And a lot of times when your method of lead generation or prospecting are the hard cold calls or door knocking or things like that, things where it just seems like you can make that more predictable. But what I found for myself is that the team that I was on, which was great because I learned so much from my team, I just know that, if real estate was going to be long-term for me, it would have to look different. I'm a teacher, a little bit more of a nurturer, but I still have to operate this like a business. So I decided when I became solo is, okay, how do I take these same skills and things that I learned in the trainings when it came to internet lead conversion and things like that, and how do I apply it to my sphere of influence so that I can build a business that not only is going to provide revenue for my family, but it's also going to be a business that I love and that I'm proud of. And thankfully, I've been able to do that. So here's the real main reason why I love real estate. This is a picture of one of my client appreciation events. These little girls are neighbors because I sold their parents' houses right next door to each other, right? And this is really what I'm into it for. I'm not running a nonprofit, so I love people, but I do understand that my family has to eat. But I really, I am a people person. Like I know that I was placed on this earth to serve people at a high level. For many years, it looked like that in my classroom, and now it just looks differently in my real estate business. So how does that look though, right? Because I think that this is why having a referral business gets a bad rep, is because everybody kind of thinks that you're just going to sit back, you're going to post on social media once or twice a week, you're going to do the bare minimum, and for some reason everyone's going to call you and say, hey, I want to buy or sell with you. And the reality is that that's not it, right? So that's the very first thing that I want to say, is that if you are really looking to serve your sphere and compete in turn, not that you're competing with anybody, but be able to turn over numbers similar to those who are putting money into getting leads in different ways. You have to be as committed, if not more, into a few habits that are going to continually have this business come to you. And those are just some habits that I've outlined today that I want to share with you. The first one is the habit of telling your time where to go. I actually wrote a course about this because if there is one thing that I would say, is a game changer, like a non-negotiable in my real estate business, it's the art of time blocking. I time block this meeting at 1 Central instead of 12 Central, but time blocking is non-negotiable for me. And here, I don't know if you can see my planner. Like I still keep, I have a Google Calendar, but I keep a planner still where I tell my time where to go. At the beginning of every quarter, I take the time to set up, like, what does my ideal week look like? And I work really hard to plan my days according to those ideal weeks. And the reason that I do that is because I want to make sure that, yes, I have time for my lead generation activities, that I have time to show, that I have time to coach, but I also very much want to be a mom and a wife. And I want to make sure that I am telling my time where to go so I don't look up and I'm producing a lot, but I'm not living a life that I love. So I'll give you just some examples with my ideal week. Like right now, I know, like if I'm going to have a lunch with somebody, I already know what days of the week I am available for lunch. So if you want to meet with me in June or December, I'm going to be able, it's not just, hey, any old day, and now it's conflicting with my lead prospecting time or my follow-up time or time that I have scheduled with my family. I have sat down and I've really thought through the 5 pillars of my life: faith, family, fitness, finances, and fun. And I've thought through, in the best case scenario, this is what my week is going to look like. And I block time for each one of those areas. So I'm telling my time where to go. So then I'm even being intentional with how I am touching the people that I want to do business with. Okay. So then the next one, with building and selling to your sphere, is to build your know, like, and trust factor. People do business with those who they know, like, and trust. I am very intentional about, I do a lot on social media, but I want to be even better in person than you see on social media. But on social media, and that's going to be the next one, is getting social on social. I'm making sure that I am am sharing enough of my life. Now, I'm not showing all of my scars when they're scars. I wait until I show them when they're scars, not when they're scabs. But I'm making sure that I'm putting enough out about me where someone, like if someone calls and says, hey, I'm looking for a realtor, and someone says, oh, you should look for Rosemary. I want enough information out there where somebody is going to be able to decide based on what I put out if they are going to know, like, and trust me. So building that trust factor, I bring people into my life. I bring them into my family. I lost my mom last year. I brought a lot of people into my grief process, and not with the idea of, honestly, I've done it from the idea of serving, because I know that we are going to walk this road at some point. But from that, I'm building trust with different vendors, with neighbors, with things like that. So make sure that you're doing things that you're building trust with the people around you. Now, number 3, I alluded to it, but it's get social on social. You will see a story, a video, something of me every single day. And even if it's just a quick check-in, if it's a quick, hey, I'm at Target, I'm at Trader Joe's, like, I'm always thinking about who my ideal client is. And I have identified her. And I'll tell you who my ideal client is while we're on this call. My ideal client is honestly is somebody who mirrors me. She's a woman. She is married, more than likely. She is getting to the point where her children are older, so she's going through some transition in home, like probably ready to get out of her first home and go into the bigger home, right? So I'm looking for someone who is selling and buying. I'm looking for someone who has children. So, when I'm speaking to her and I'm increasing that know, like, and trust factor, I'm not just telling her about the pretty houses, but I know her pain points. I know that she's struggling with her kids getting older. I know she's struggling trying to figure out, how am I going to cook dinner plus get to soccer practice, plus get my quarterly report in. I know that she has a little FOMO. She's looking at her friends and what her friends has. She wants to go on a date night with her husband. So I'm social enough on social where I am always talking directly to that person and increasing my know, like, and trust factor, while also consistently solidifying the fact that I am a resource for you. Which brings me to number 4. With your sphere of influence, you have to be resourceful. I think that a lot of people in sales, I won't just say realtors, but a lot of us in sales get it wrong because we only go from a take mentality and not a give. And giving in our business, like, this is truly a relationship business. I don't care if you act a little bit more transactional. The more resourceful that we can be with our sphere, with honestly, with anybody we come in contact with, the better. Okay. And I'll give you some examples. So it could be something as small as, if I'm at Costco, because I'm always thinking about my ideal client, I might post, hey y'all, Costco got the moms, like, hurry up, come to the one on El Dorado. And I promise you, I will have like 5 people messaging me before I leave Costco. Or it could be, have you tried this new restaurant for date night? Or being resourceful could be, hey neighbor, I'm happy to do a home equity report for you because I know that your son is transitioning. If y'all have thought about selling, let me help you. So finding ways to be resourceful, and don't just limit it to in the real estate space. And I'm gonna tell you, like, I have a client, she just reached out to me yesterday. Last year, this client, along with her, we did about 3 million in transactions. She bought a house and she sold a house and then bought another one. She's renovating that one. It's probably going to flip it this year. And she's looking to do like multiple Airbnbs, and homegirl has like 700,000 Instagram followers. I engaged her on social media, and she has become an ally and a raving fan. Anytime she posts me, I get so many messages in my inbox. But she sent me a message the other day, like wanting referrals because she's doing a wedding renewal, right? And immediately I was able to give her resources. And that's what made me stand out from the realtor that she used 2 years ago. Next thing, when it comes to serving your sphere of influence, pick up the phone. Texting does not, it does not cancel out those actual conversations and mets that we need to make. So make sure that you're picking up the phone. And I always start, like, I start my day, anytime I'm calling, I start my day with a quick win, right? My aunt lives in Chicago, but she's in my sphere. I may call her. I may call my dad. I may call, somewhere that I'm going to get a quick win. Someone's going to be happy to hear from me. And we're going to, like, that is literally a part of how I start the day. And now I'm in rotation. Okay, so maybe now I do call the girl who I used to teach with. Okay, and now I'm going to give a phone call to my dentist and say, hey, thank you for X, Y, and Z. So make sure that you're actually picking up the phone. Speaking of picking up the phone, even when you're not on the phone, or even when you're just in social aspects, the next thing to do with your sphere is to find a way to work real estate into every conversation. I don't care if I'm jokingly, like if I'm out with girlfriends, I may jokingly say something like, hey, I refer to myself in third person with my friends, like Rosemary the realtor. But if I am like, if we're out to dinner and the waitress comes, the script that I use all the time, I ask people all the time, where do you live, right? When I ask them, where do they live, wherever they live, because I have market knowledge, I'm able to say something about the area they live. And then it's like, oh, because I'm a real estate agent. Oh yeah, I sold a house over there. I just showed over there recently. Let me ask your opinion about this, because I had other clients that were looking for X. I don't care if I'm at a baby shower. I do this everywhere except for church, right? Church, I'm not doing this, but I get so much of my business from church. But I'm working real estate into every conversation so that people know exactly who I am and what I do. And with that being said, y'all, I definitely give out my business cards, but with work in my sphere, I friend everybody. Like before anyone can ask me, I'm whipping out my phone like, hey, are you on Facebook? You're on Instagram? I prefer to friend them on Facebook, because on Facebook it's reciprocal. I can see things about them, and then I can slide into their inbox later. Oh my goodness, you told me you had a little 2-year-old son. He is absolutely adorable. Now, he need a backyard, things like that. Okay, the next thing, number 7, video messaging is huge. I learned this from, I'm gonna lose her name, but she is big on video messages. She's an EXP agent as well. But just sending video messages, I send 5 to 10 video texts a day. Again, just like that is just so personable. I had someone that I met last year. I met him because he was the assistant at for somebody. We were both speaking at the same event, and I just sent him a message like, "Hey, Happy New Year. Just wanted to check in. I saw the calendar. I saw y'all are coming to Dallas in this month. Let me know if there's anything that I can assist with. And by the way, I know we mentioned having a conversation because you were thinking about, relocating to Dallas at one point. I'm totally available if you want to have coffee or have a conversation anytime this week, blah, blah, blah." He sends me a message back like, "Girl, I am all over the world. No one has ever sent me a video. That was so personable. You call me by name. It wasn't stock." And again, I am just increasing that know, like, and trust factor. And just start off small, like video your kid for their birthday, video your husband or wife, like getting, the more comfortable we get on video, just the more comfortable I think we're gonna be, because again, that is like a game. It has been a game changer, and it's been a game changer. This is one thing that I want to say. With all of the production that I close, I cannot think of maybe one client that I wouldn't give my home address. So not only am I attracting the numbers that are going to help my family grow, but I'm attracting real relationships in my life and the type of business that I want to do, not business that I have to do, if that makes sense. All right, number 8, be the expert. So you can be friendly as I don't know what, but you better know real estate, okay? So you better know, spend some time every single day studying market, being aware, like have conversations with your lender, knowing what new programs are coming out. What is the Bank of America loan thing? What has FHA changed to? What is happening? What are the builders doing in terms of incentive in your neighborhood? Okay, over the house around the corner, did it have that extra bathroom like this house? How is that plan different from your plan? Like really take some time to be the expert, because I don't care how nice you are, you definitely have to be able to know your stuff, right? Like we are being paid to be the real estate advisors here. Okay, number 9, you have to create an amazing experience when working with you. I put this picture up here of lemonade because sometimes in business, life will hand us lemons, right? And especially in these deals, life will hand us lemons. But we have to provide, like, I want to be better in person, but I definitely want to be better during the transaction than my clients thought that I would be. And quite honestly, y'all, and you know this because y'all are in the business, is that unfortunately the bar is set low for a lot of real estate experiences that our clients have had previously, that really just by doing your job, picking up the phone, answering people, being on top of things, having the right systems in place, it will allow you to shine. So definitely, like not being so intent to just get the business and then letting it fall to the wayside and not really paying attention to the experience that people have. I just got a message the other day from one of my clients. I actually went to her house for New Year's Eve, like literally, like I love my people. And she sent me a message like, I just don't know if people understand what it's like when they get to work with somebody who really cares about their families and things like that. And I didn't do much, like I didn't do anything outside of what I normally would, just did our job. But by being intent on doing your job, it's going to create an amazing experience. And that client has referred me to $1 million plus buyers who have referred me to $1 million plus people. And then this is the last thing, number 10, make sure that you wow your past, present, and future clients. I am huge on making sure that I am doing events, making sure that I am creating experiences for my clients, whether that is, I'll give you a couple, like coming up this, I got this actually from a group, Girls with Grit. In January, I'm doing a wine and wealth seminar where I'm inviting my financial planner, an estate attorney to come and have a conversation with my clients about estate planning. In February, I'm going to do a Galentine's. In March is spring break. We'll do a movie. So just different things where you continually staying top of mind. And I'm just partnering, like I'm partnering with the right partners. So my title company, my inspector, my pool builder, the roofer, like they are paying for these events. But every time my clients look up, I'm just like taking such good care of them. Then they're tagging me on social media. So like their friends are like, okay, I want to come next year. Okay, how do I come? All you gotta do is buy or sell a house. Ha ha ha. But then they really buy or sell a house because they need to anyway. But they see that I'm going to be someone who's really going to walk this path with them. So I know I was talking fast because I want to give y'all time to ask questions. So if anything that I want to leave y'all with today is that I'm proof that it's possible not only to come to a market, to come to a business, to figure out a way to really bring yourself into your business, but you can truly create a business that you love. Because of everything that I do and I love, I think what I'm most proud of and passionate about is that as my business is growing, my relationship with my husband, my relationship with my kids, my relationship with God, like I haven't had to forfeit any of that to build a business that I really am proud of, right? So while production is beautiful, I'm grateful that I get to see things. This business has provided me with things that are more priceless than production. So I'm gonna stop sharing. Well, before we do Q&A, I do want to show y'all this real quick. We have 2 podcasts. If you Real Estate Bestie is like my new little baby. If you can scan that QR code and you'll get a link to this presentation that I did here today. And Real Estate Bestie is a podcast that I speak. It's really speaking directly to real estate agents. My husband and I actually also have Eagle Talk with Team Lewis podcast, and that one is more entrepreneurial in general focus. We talk about a little bit of everything there. So would love for you all to connect with me and check out any of those. And now we have some time for some Q&A. So I'm gonna stop recording. And Adam, I don't know if you want to pop back on.
Yeah, I'll let them kind of just take some Q&A from you, but I think even, I mean, you're going to love some of the RAM program stuff that, we're rolling out. It's going to be 96, pieces, and the segmenting of the list, and, the 3 different, we'll just call them labels or tiers that they're in. And it really carried these, through the philosophy of Michael Mayer, 150 solid relationships, right? Where people know you. They believe in your brand promise. They see you deliver on it time and time again and keep your word, and still deal with, issues of being a mom, a wife, a husband, and, all that stuff. And so, we're going to be working on that over the next 3 months, because I've always been a big internet lead conversion person. And, we just obviously, it's just like a machine. And, looking at, everything, and kind of going back to, 2010, 11, 12, and we're going back towards that market, and a different variants of way with technology, and the buyer, a lot more smarter, but everything else will kind of, look the same. And I was, digging around with different coaching sites and stuff like that, and I found that program, and I thought I spent $1,000, and I thought I was gonna, just like most stuff, get a nugget here, get a nugget there from something, and then, you have to keep piecing what I was looking for in my mind, and it was all there. And so all of these different events that you're talking about, and getting them on clockwork, and then so much more to it, even with like, we'll just say contest and different things like that, that also build community, and not just an event every 90 days, and stuff like that, where it's like they're feeling involved in something that is bigger than just selling houses. And so I'm excited to get into some of that stuff. And so when I looked at the profit margin of like somebody like Eric Hatch and some of these other teams that are running it, and they're pushing 60% profitability, that's like unheard of, running teams. And stuff like that. But being able to get that dialed in and ran for the agent and still come to agreements with, team split and different things like that. Because when you run it at that level, running a team, it's like there's real staff and, still marketing dollars that goes into it. But I don't know if you saw the post, but the marketing dollars are astronomical right now because everybody is just trying to buy their way out of this situation that we're in. Internet traffic's down about 50%, even though we're, NAR saying, and what we are actually seeing, sales are down about 30%, even across the board, even in Toronto. And so it's probably down close to 40 there. And like, when you look at, what's the best way to go after business is through people that already know you. And so like we building an empire, or we ran building an empire systems to build top agent experts through tap rooting. And it's like, we'd all done a phenomenal job of that. And it's just like the same technique, right? And being able to have them systems put in place where they're repeatable and predictable. And it was $1.47 per closing with people that's been running the same system and a variance of it. Some people doing 300 closings, some people doing 90, some just straight SOI business. This is their thing, right? And so it was pretty inspiring to see. So I mean, that's kind of one of the first projects I picked up to work on with the network. And then when I reached out to you, I knew that you were big with SOI when you got into the game. I just didn't know if you developed out those relationships and systems. And then watching you guys from a distance, obviously you guys care deeply about your family and relationships and being connected and all that stuff. And so I'm blessed to have you in the network. But I'm gonna kind of turn this back over to these guys, let them kind of chip away at you, because you kept it very simple, but it's like they could have some detailed questions about anything. So I'll let you
Yeah,
kind of take it back over.
yeah, I see a question from Rhonda, and that's the thing. Like sometimes it can be so simple, it seems hard, right? Um, and you have to figure out what works for you, and and you have to figure out what your goals are. So for what my goals are and where the other things that we're building, this literally it works like clockwork, and even in a down market. Now, I will tell you, I'm doubling down on the amount of like being as more consistent with my habits, but the habits are feeding. So Rhonda's question was, can you give a brief time blocking of what your typical day looks like? So Rhonda, the best way for me to answer that question, because we do have a couple different businesses, right? So we have the Rosemary Lewis Group business, but then some of my days plan my ideal week. Some of my days are dedicated to like Eagle Talk, the business that I have with my husband, and podcasting and speaking and things like that. But on a typical real estate day, like Mondays are typically a real estate day for me. I'm up every morning between 5 and 5:30. 5:30 to 5:45 is kind of like my gathering time. Like I have just a ritual of things I have to do, like light a candle and put a load of clothes in the laundry. From 5:45 to 6:15, that's Rosemary's time. That's a lot of time where I am still in myself in the morning. I'm reading, I'm praying, I'm journaling. 6:15, my son is up. When he goes off to school at 7 o'clock, from 8 o'clock, I am working out. From 8 to 8:30 is when I'm typically getting dressed for the day. 8:30 to 9 is when I'm sending my video messages at the top of the day. And I usually do some sort of check-in on social, but I only get to check in on social if I've drank 2 liters of water. That's like my buy-in and to get on social media for the day. From 9 until 10, on Mondays, I coach my team, but if I'm not with team from 9 to 11 is when I am physically calling, video messaging, reaching out to my sphere or whoever I need to call that day. Is I have that time. And I really use the Pomodoro method in order to do that, where I'll set a timer for 25 minutes, go hard for 25 minutes, give myself a 5-minute break, repeat that rotation for 4 times. At about 11, it just really depends on what I need. If I need a break, I'll take a break. But a lot of times I'm doing follow-ups. I'm following up with my TC. I'm following up with any deals. Like this morning at 11, I was negotiating on a listing. And then pretty much after that, like I really like to leave it open where from 12 on at 3 o'clock, on Mondays, I'm 3 o'clock, I'm home. So from 12 to 3, I may be doing lunch with somebody. I may be walking a new build. It may be open for our listing appointment or something like that. That's really a flexible time for my appointments. At 3 o'clock right now, I'm home for my son. And then from 4 to 6, I have flexibility for appointments again. And if there aren't any appointments on the book, okay, then I need to find some way where I'm connecting with people. So that's pretty much the way my real estate days look. Now, of course, I do have to offer some time for flexibility, but I'll give you something like even my closings. Because I really like to eat the frog in the beginning of the day, making sure that I am, talking and doing things like that. I really won't set any appointments before noon and even like a closing, right? So my transaction coordinator knows if we have a closing on the books, check with me first. Now, of course, I want the closing to fund that day, but check with me first. And then we're going to give our clients options for closing that are in alignment with what makes sense for my schedule, because I really am protective of the time that I'm spending. And then, so a great example also is, if I want to go to a training, now I look at calendars, right? So I look to see, when are trainings normally happening? When are these days? So if I want to go to a training and my days for trainings are Thursdays and this is on Tuesday, then I just have to take a hard look to see, okay, is this something that I really need to move forward? What's going to be the best use of my time? Because what I found when I first got into the business is that I was overscheduled and underpaid. I was running around and doing all these different things, but not really paying attention to the business or sitting down and doing the things that were actually going to bring money to our household. So that's pretty much the way that I approach time blocking. What's this? Darius said, what system do you use for video messaging? Good old iPhone, Darius. I normally video message through, I'm so simple. I use my iPhone. If they have an Android, then I hit them up through Messenger or DM them on what you call it, Instagram, right? So, but if people have an iPhone, then I'm just literally sending a video message. And for me, the simpler, because I'm not making one message and sending it to 50 people. Now, what I have done and what I do for my clients sometimes is I do send a weekly newsletter-ish type email. I may say, hey, I made this video just for you. And it might be just a direct link to a YouTube private link. But yeah, I don't use my mom or anything like that. I just use my phone. And I found that people just open it because they don't feel like they're being spammed or anything. It's just very simple. I don't want to say your name wrong. Medardo. Hey, Medardo. Great info, Rosemary. Thank you. What advice would you give to new or newer agents in the business? So that's why I created the Real Estate Bestie podcast, just to really simplify it, right? So definitely connect there on any of your podcast platforms, because a lot of times, and I don't know, like for me, when I first got into the business, some of the talk would go over my head where I would just be overwhelmed, and it would literally handicap me to think that I could not move, right? And really it's like, okay, no, Rosemary, how do you make this business work for you? So the first thing that I would say to a new agent is, first of all, I'm just going to really encourage you. A part of where I struggled was going from an employee mindset to a CEO mindset. Like here, you got to go out and get it. I don't care if you're on a team. I don't care if you're building through your referral base. I don't care if you're doing internet leads. You have to be committed to waking up every day, being accountable to yourself and going out and get it. And that sounds way easier than it really is, right? So what must you give up? What must you alter? What must you change right now to reap great benefits in the long run? And I'm gonna give you one that I have changed recently. Every single day of my life, I log off social media at 3 o'clock. Every single day. And when I say log off, like I delete the app from my phone. And even though, I can lie to myself and say, okay, I'm using social media, and this is just me, I'm using social media to build my business, but a lot of I waste a lot of time there, right? And not only am I wasting time there, is there that can be time that I could be thinking about my business. That could be time that I can be going on appointments, spending time with my family. So I log off social media and I take my butt to sleep at about 9 o'clock every night. By doing those hard things, I'm ramped and I'm ready to go at 5:30, right? I'm ready. And because I haven't been filling my head with everybody else's life, I can be clear on not only what I need to do, but how to get me there for what I need to do for the next day. And I really just focus on what I need to do for the next day. Also, as a new agent, I think that you just don't know what you don't know. So finding, like, I appreciate that you are a part of this training. I do think that there's a lot of value in teams, because I just think about the team that I was on. I think about the team that I get to coach now. Like, they might not even because I have been there, I can listen to their conversations and I can see the holes, that until I point them out, they're like, oh, I didn't think about it like that. And I didn't think about it like that. So, so I would strongly consider what your mentorship coaching situation is going to look like. And coming to trainings like this is great, but it's also, I feel like, some benefit if you can link up with a team or something that that y'all have the same core values and they really can supply you what you need to grow. That is one of the best things that I did coming in, and something that I would recommend. But I feel like for a new agent, it does take just a bit of mindset shifting, to realize most of us come into real estate from another industry, right? So a bit of mindset shifting on, oh yeah, my broker is not my boss. And my sponsor also is not, like, even though my sponsor is going to be here to help me, support me, they're not going to go out and do it for me. And to give me just, we can all tell you our different roadmaps, but at the end of the day, it's up to us to actually take it. Like, I was on Tierney's team and it was a great experience for me, but I had to take that roadmap and now figure out, okay, Rosemary, how do you go and make it your own? But I needed to get uncomfortable, right? Learn things a different way that I wasn't comfortable with and become a badass at it. And then try to figure out, okay, now how do I apply this to what I want to do? So I know that was kind of a mouthful, as a new agent, but I hope that you picked up on a couple of things that might help. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, I think I have one more. Great job. Thanks, Darius. I appreciate you. Thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then don't forget to connect with me on the Real Estate Bestie podcast. Like, we have a lot of, I talk about all the things there. Because I know, again, I listened to a lot of things that felt like they were talking over my head. And I just really, like, this business is so simple, it's scary, but so simple that it's hard.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. I mean, on one of my videos that I shot when an event, I did in Wichita, to gear back up here, we're going to be taking on the referral stuff. But one of the things that I said when, it's like, it's not a team of 5, not a team of 10. It's like, you got thousands of people, and hundreds reaching out to you. It's different problems and different manners with different models, but, boiling it down to what you said in the beginning of this, what Cory had to do. It's like, when you just get in real estate, and obviously he'd been in an investor, but, team building is sexy, and it is a beautiful thing when it works well with the back end and the front end of the business and the clients and all that stuff. And, I can remember when, Cory was, it's kind of like, judging a fish on how well it can climb a tree. And it's like, he was out of his element with the team stuff. Right. But it's like, focus on your niche and that one thing. And it's like, that's when it can be simple, because then you are the trusted advisor. You are the expert, and the top 10, 15%, hopefully top 5%, in your space, and in that area, right, where you're competitive and you're the go-to person, or at least, top three. And so there was a lot of stuff for you to figure out, for sure, in terms of like going from a teacher and asking a teacher to prospect. Those are two totally different profile types, you know what I mean? But having that servant, heart, and, being able to be a good teacher and help people break down bite-sized, digestible pieces of the data. And there's so much data out there that it's like, how does this affect them, and what does it all mean, and what they should do, and why is it happening, and the timing of it. And so you guys have done a beautiful thing, kind of finding your own, and I think everybody needs to be on a team, start on a team, and or contribute back to it. And, and so you came in, did what you had to do, and then you guys are like building your own little hybrid thing. But it's like, you're really keeping the main thing, even though you're SOI. I think that you're obviously one of the better brand builders. And so, yeah, you might not be spending a lot of money on direct marketing per se, right? But in terms of the storytelling and the advertisement that's going on through the brand building that you guys are doing is top notch. And so we're in the marketing business, and we're sales teams that just happen to work in real estate. And so you guys get that piece of it though. And so I love following your guys' brand and seeing it grow over the years. And I appreciate you sticking out the hard stuff, and being able to get, what are you going into, your fourth year, you said in the beginning, or like where
So
you
this
at?
is I just finished my fifth year. Just finished my fifth year.
Fifth year. So I mean, so you've been here almost exactly the same amount of time I was. So Tierney probably came a few months after I did. So you were on her team
Yeah, I
when
was
she
with
came
her team
over.
when she came.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thought you came a little bit after. That's phenomenal, guys. So I love it. It kind
One
of ties right into us kicking off SOI stuff. I know we do have, for you internet junkies and ISAs and stuff like that, we do have some prospecting masterminds coming up through internet lead conversion and stuff like that. Matt was big on a topic, I was big on a topic, and I think it's timely what Rosemary was able to deliver to us. So I appreciate you, Rosemary. And if anyone else don't have any other questions, we're almost at the top of the hour, and I look forward to being able to get you some of these other documents and things like that as we're rolling them out and working on building some of these systems that you talked about today.
Yeah, and there was one last question about script to letting your sphere know, letting them know that you got into the business. I'm gonna tell you what I did that was horrible. I just like messaged everybody, pick up the phone, like, hey, how you doing? Look, I don't know if you heard, but my husband and I, or myself, I decided that I love doing X, so I'm going into real estate, and I just would love to keep you updated on my journey, and just be honest with them. If you know anything, is it okay if I take your address? I'll be happy to send you over reports when I do them for my clients. But I would pick up the phone, because 9 times out of 10, your people are going to be happy to hear from you and know what you're doing with your life. And then if they're not happy, that's okay too. Like, I always tell my team, like, they're not gonna whoop you. The worst it could be is a no, but at least you picked up the phone and just let them know what you have going on.
Hey, if you got fear of getting turned down by a family friend or associate, or someone that knows you, it's like you might want to get out of the business altogether, because what we're going to have to be immune to at the highest level is rejection for the market we're going into. So I mean, yeah, it's like the thing about the system that I've been able to see, and it's what I've seen a lot of other guys, maybe not so much in the real estate business in terms of how they get business from real estate agents. It's like you're in the entertainment game. There's one guy, I'm not gonna mention any names. They built a big title company in our town, and I thought they did a phenomenal job at it. And they were doing it through events and networking and stuff like that. And it wasn't necessarily, as they were coming up to become what they are, they they weren't that much better, right? But they definitely made you feel special, and they had the relationships with the top people, like you were talking about, going and getting good co-marketing agreements done. And I have some contracts RESPA approved, and going to show people how to get them done on the lending side. And then if you're running good marketing on your website, and how to run a good vendor program, because they all want, to be in the game as well, and they be willing, to chip in something. It's just most people don't ask or know what's legal or not. But being able to deliver on the we'll just say the design, the aesthetics, your landing page, the amount of traffic that you can show them, click-through rates, things like that, more on the internet side. I'm not going to go down that side of it, but Rosemary, I want to say thank you, and I'll let you kind of wrap it up from here if you got any final words.
No, thank you to everybody. I just appreciate being a part of this EXP family. Definitely continue to tap into all the things. And like I said, I am here as a resource. If we're not already connected on social, I'm Rosemary, the realtor. And like literally, if you're struggling on social media, look at what I do and copy it. Like, we don't have to overthink it, right? Just show up. But don't let those things overpower. Like, even if it's building your sphere, we got to just set up time to sit down, get focused, pick up the phone, and touch our people.
I love it. All right, guys, got another 2% Monday mastermind series in the books. I appreciate you. You guys have a great week. Just do it. Later, guys.
Bye, y'all.